Hello, friends. How are you? How's your week? How's your day? Happy Monday. Happy 7th of July. I don't know. There's been fireworks all weekend, and I like to, and there will be for like the next week. And I'll be like, the neighbors want to wish you a happy 7th of July, because they're out there just letting stuff off. Um, there's an aspect of having a baby, having an infant, that I hadn't really remembered or expected. And that's just that when you have an infant, everybody wants to see the infant. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, but in the best kind of way, I guess. This weekend, I've lived in this house for 13 years. And this weekend, there was more people in my house than the entire 13 years I lived there. I mean, that's probably hyperbole, but if I counted them like total, maybe. And I definitely more people in a 48-hour or 72-hour span than in the rest of the time I've lived here. And it's because you have a baby, and everybody wants to see the baby, and it's really fun. And it was one of those. Here's a part of not only having a baby, but having a baby in 46, having a baby with a young wife. When we go out and people go, she's talking to the doctor or the nurse, and they say, and who do we have with us? We know what they're asking. They're asking, is this your dad? And she has to say, that's my husband. It People have asked me for years if she's my daughter. She looks young, but she's not young. I mean, she's younger than me, but she's not a teenager or something. So there's that aspect of being this age with a baby and a young wife, but there's also the like family aspect of like, do the family. We dated for a long time, like a couple of years, I think, at least one, maybe 2 years before we talked to the families, like her family especially, about it, because it's a situation of, is what we're doing acceptable? And I don't mean that as in like we need approval, but you kind of want to make sure that it's not going to make your life outrageously difficult. And in some ways, it does. In some ways, like I said, everybody thinks I'm her dad. Uh, it can be a little bit eh. But when we talked about having kids all those years ago, I wondered if that was going to be a problem, like for friends and family who aren't, I don't want to say who are against it, but, you know, aren't as accepting. And that definitely was not the case. I've grown to know her whole family. Like, when I say her whole family, I mean extended family. They have a big family and they all do everything together. And so it was nothing but awesome this weekend to have her family here. Her mom stayed overnight with us on Friday and let us sleep and cleaned and cooked and, well, no, I cooked. I did all the cooking, but that's okay. Cleaned and did laundry and just helped with the baby, and we had great grandma visit on Saturday. We had my family visit on Sunday, and it's just like, whoa, right? You go to the hospital and you have a baby, and there were 4 nurses in our room at one point for most of the delivery time, and then there's this flurry of people who need to talk to you about the baby, about the car seat, about admissions, about the mom, about this, about there's just like, here's lactation consultants, here's whatever diaper consult. I don't know. There's just people constantly in and out of your room, and it's like staggeringly annoying and overwhelming. And then you come home, and there's nothing. When we got home, our dog wasn't even here because my parents came and took him so that he could, not die while we were in the hospital. So we came home to a completely empty house with nobody asking us what was, telling us what was next. We're going to take this and do this and draw that and measure this, to a few days of that before suddenly all of these people are in the house. And so it is a little overwhelming, but like I said earlier, in the best possible way. It was just fantastic to have everybody here showing us that they care and taking care of the kid and the house and, needs. We worked on my kid's car. She needed oil change and stuff done. We did all that stuff on Friday. We went shopping. Her parents have a minivan, so they brought it so we could go get a load of wood, so I could finish the island project and make a new shelf. And so all around, everybody helped us this weekend, and it was great. You know, my sister visited, my parents visited, brought us some stuff from the pharmacy that we needed. You know, it's just like it's. I don't want it all the time. Like, I don't want that level of attention all the time. But when it happens, you know, and here's the thing, like, I could say I'm not ready for this. If you'd asked me on Friday, I might have said that. Like, I'm not ready to have this flurry of people in the house. But when it's happening, it's really wonderful. It's a really, really good time. And we had some good meals and shared some stories. And I'll tell you a story that they all thought was hilarious. And I had to text my sister because I thought maybe this was just my memory, and for reasons I'll get into. My grandfather, my grandmother and grandfather lived in kind of like a cold shack. It was a shack that was added on to, like, it was a family thing, and it was an old house that was not built properly. You know, it was just this. They had a single bathroom, and my grandfather, every morning, went out at like 4:30 or something, 5 o'clock, got the newspaper, went into the bathroom, locked the door, sat on the toilet, and read the entire paper, front to back. Did the entire crossword puzzle. He would spend like hours on the toilet, like 3 hours. And so as a kid, Grandpa's in the bathroom, you go outside, or Grandma kept a coffee can in the kitchen, and you went in the coffee can. And her whole family thought that was just outrageous. And I had to text my sister and was like, wait, did you have to use the coffee can? Or was that just me? Like, because I'm a boy. And she was like, my sister's response was all the damn time. She's like, every time he went in the bathroom was when I woke up and had to pee. And yeah, we used that coffee can a lot because Grandpa would not leave the bathroom until he was done. I mean, maybe he needed more fiber in his diet. I don't know. I just know that was a every morning routine. But we told stories like that, and you know, had some good laughs, and just shared a lot of positive time together. And it's all, you know, it's because of Violet, right? It's because of the baby. The baby's here. And it's probably going to be like that for a while. She gets her own attention. She brings her own attention. Where the rest of us, we all know each other, and we know our stories, and we know what we do. Violet's all new. And especially for first-time grandparents. And, you know. Yeah, it was a good weekend. How was your weekend? Did you do anything for July 4th? It just so happens, I didn't really know that they were all coming, but I had bought a box of hamburgers and a bag of buns to put in the freezer so that we could have like quick and easy meals in case we're both brain dead and I have to cook something simple. So we did end up having hamburgers on 4th of July, kind of by accident, and that was nice. It was a good meal for everybody. So, what'd you get up to? Do anything exciting? I was in bed by like 8:30 or 9, so I didn't hear any of the fireworks. Just passed it. It was a good time. I've been in bed at about 8 o'clock every night, and I'm getting up at like between 1:30 and 3:30, just depending on if Malia gets sleep or not, and then I take over and I take care of the baby all morning. It's been a time. So, let me know what you got up to this weekend down in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it if you haven't done so. If you're new, please subscribe. We are growing. I'm blown away, honestly. The channel has gotten a lot more attention lately. I don't know why, but I'm very appreciative. Thank you all for that. I will see you again tomorrow. Taste 1,000 plus little things. Happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 20 things to stop doing to others. Number 15, stop expecting people to be perfect. Perfect is the enemy of good, and genuine goodness is hard to find in this world. Don't overlook it. I've experienced friends and family who have a black or white view of people and refuse to accept that people grow and change and become something better or something more refined. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, is that people grow and change and become more refined, and it's okay to forgive them for that.